Eleanor Roosevelt had this great quote. She said that poor minds talk about other people, average minds talk about events, but great minds talk about ideas. Welcome to the Take On Everything podcast.
What are we talking about today?
I think we're going to try to talk about this Joe Biden inauguration thing. Like that's probably like one of the bigger things that's happened. Like
Joseph.
Was it R. Biden? Joseph R. Biden, is that it? A. Biden, something like that?
I know he's a junior, which surprised me because I didn't know there'd be another fucking Joseph.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up.
Fucking Joseph.
Joseph
what is his
Biden.
name?
I'm gonna look that up because we should probably know his name if we're gonna start talking about him. What's his name? What is the president's name? Yeah, it is a junior. Okay, so Joseph. Oh wow, Robinette Biden Jr.
Joseph Robinette. Oh my
God.
No
joke. Robinette. Like the whole French "et" thing going on there. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
He was born in the 40s, James. Let me tell you.
Obviously.
Obviously.
And literally of 1942. So you know.
James, did you watch the inauguration?
I did not. I think I tried. I didn't make it that far. What I did see, I saw three. I made it through like 30 seconds of the inauguration speech, and then I watched two clips which I thought were hilarious. Which is when I guess he had like an earpiece in, and he was walking by the Marines, and the earpiece told him to salute the Marines, and he just said salute the Marines and walked past them, which I was dying laughing. So the camera was on him. He was like climbing the Capitol steps. He gets to the top of the steps. He's like turns around and waves at everybody. Turns back around to walk into the Capitol. There's two Marines, by the door. And he walks by, he stops and looks at them and he says, salute the Marines. And then he walks past them. Like,
James.
I was like, God.
James, I spent $40 million on this fucking party. And he said, you know what? I guess every president has their like bumble. Like, remember when George Bush threw up on the Japanese president and then Donald Trump hugged the flag and Joe Biden said, salute the Marines. And I think we're really on track to being put back on the map as like a world power and like respected. Salute the Marines. Fucking stupid. Exactly. Fucking stupid. Well, James, I watched it, so no one else had to.
I assumed you would, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this, but I did see that in attendance to the inauguration was Bernie Sanders and a special guest, Bernie Sanders Mittens. That's about all I got from the inauguration. I'm going to let you run down the inauguration and tell us what happened.
Well, one, off the bat, you tune in and like I watched 3 different coverages just so I could get like the vibe of the nation, and each time like they're going through everyone that's there, and never have I ever at an inauguration felt so much cocksucking happening from the media. Like every single time, like I was trying to phrase it in like a way that made it like Christian, but I couldn't.
I just can't.
They deep-throated those fucking guys. And it was just the weirdest fucking compliments. It's just like that guy always replies to his emails. Yeah. Remember when he replied to my email? Oh my God, he was nice to me once. That's crazy. Like, oh, remember that guy? He has time for his constituents. And it's like, oh, you mean like their fucking jobs? Is that what you're talking about? Like, they did their jobs. They like met with the people they represent. They replied to like their questions. Oh, like they go to the Capitol Hill. Like, oh, wow. You mean these people have jobs and they perform them?
It's like these guys showed up for work. Are you telling me they actually showed up for work? I feel like if our bosses treated us the way that the media treats politicians for doing our jobs, more people would show up to work on time and more people would, I don't know, give a shit, I guess. But, politicians just expect that kind of thing.
The media does that when they're not even fucking doing their jobs. It's just like, remember all these policies they wrote for like Black people? Remember also these are the same people that like put in legislation that put Black people in that position in the first place. Like, remember when they did that part?
We're not going to talk about that though.
the fact that you get like they're patting them on the back for solving problems they caused. And like, that's fucking weird to me. But then also just, the way it was set up, especially in a pandemic where it didn't feel very pandemic-y. But then
Pandemic-y. TM, new word. You know, we're trademarking that shit.
Pandemic-y, you know, just like elbows. Like everyone was just like, "Hey, how you doing, pal?" Just like touching. The star of the show, though, the star, Bernie Sanders, as you mentioned, I lived for every moment that man was on the screen, okay? Because he showed up like he had 10 other better things to do. Oh my God. He was like dressed for like, I have something to do after. He was sitting, the way he was sitting, just like arms crossed. And it's like, all right, Joseph, let's hear what bullshit you have to spew. And you know why? Because that's a bitter fucking man. That's an old man who knew he got cheated, what, 3 times in a fucking row?
At least.
And
like, I feel like that's the real representation of America, though, is we have better shit to do. However, we kind of feel obligated to like tune in and do what we got to do. But yeah, he definitely gave off that vibe. And yeah, he completely got cheated. And most of the time it was Biden and Hillary's fault. And they were both there. So yeah, he was a little bit of he was in a mood.
You know what? Like, I don't even feel bad for him because he should have defended himself when he was getting fucked over. Like, what do you want me to do 2 years after the fact, Bernie? Like, come on. You see what the fuck they did. Like, especially the way they designed how people were dropping out of the race so that different supporters would be subjugated, then Biden has to win. You know, like, say some shit, Bernie. They're boxing you out of the election. Like, I used to root for Bernie. I did, believe it or not. Can you imagine me, a socialist? I used to root for Bernie, but I did. And then I was like, wow, this fucking cuck, you're gonna bend over for them, really, burn. And what pisses me off about Bernie is his average donation, James, was $20. Do you know what that means? That means American people, predominantly young American people, were giving him their last $20 because they believed in him. While everyone else is getting like $1 million donations, he was getting, the American people funded his campaign. And like, to not even say anything, to not even be like, you know what, something's fucked up here, when people gave you their last to see you as president. Like, fuck you, Bernie Sanders, but also your mittens, girl, your mittens. Your mom make those, kid? Jesus. His little mittens, hand crossed, legs just like, I wanted him to have like better socks. But yeah, Bernie Sanders was the best. I loved Bernie.
That was amazing. And by the way, I seriously looked for days for those mittens so that so one of us could come on the show with the mittens like this. But no, I stopped at every Goodwill I could find. I stopped at like Walmart. I stopped at like every place. You know, I don't really shop at Walmart, but last resort, I got to do what I got to do. But I could not find them. Nothing that plush. They had some like bullshit mittens. I'm like, these aren't Bernie style mittens. Come on.
What I loved about that is like, within hours, there were like templates to make your own. Oh my goodness. Like, people went with it. The Bernie memes, that's like, yes, that took over, like just putting him in like weird places. Just, I love what people do when they like are inspired by something. But James, did you hear what Bernie did when he saw that his meme was trending?
No, what did he do?
He took the meme and put it on a t-shirt, sold the t-shirt, and gave all the money to charity.
Wow. That I actually very much approve of. I am about that. Great job, Bernie. I don't usually say that enough. I mean, I like Bernie as an individual. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's rolling a lot of stuff, but I think he identifies a lot of correct things. Bernie, that was a wonderful through and through gesture. I don't know what charity he gave it to, but I assume it's probably something decent. So
Meals on Wheels in like Virginia, I think. But
that's a win. I'll take it.
Sweet Burn is a capitalist.
Turns out, surprise, surprise.
Not even Bernie turns to the government to help the people. Like, he went straight to capitalism. So don't you dare tell me, okay, that capitalism can't help the needy, because Bernie just did that shit. He sold out in like 4 hours, okay? Sold out of all of his inventory, and like a bunch of people got meals because of it. So capitalism works.
Amen. It works. And I think, and if you look at the timeline, I bet you that the money he made from the T-search did not sit in some bureaucracy for a year and a half before it actually made it. You know, he skimmed like 70% off the top, and then he gave like $1 to somebody, $1 for every 20 that he made. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Bernie did not do that. And that the money was there within a couple of days, and that people ate food from Bernie by the end of the week. I'm just going to guess, because that's how capitalism works. But go Bernie. Good job, Bernie. Maybe he is now a capitalist. We should get him on the show.
I wonder if he'll respond. He probably won't. Then again, like, do you really want me and Bernie just screaming? James, it's bad enough you put up with me. It's bad enough you have to put up with me.
Well, you are literally the life of the show. So, I mean, two of you, I can't imagine. Sky's the limit at that point. We'll just get Bernie as a joint co-host. I'm going to sit back here and let you guys.
Anyway, inauguration. Then we had Joe Biden's speech. Okay. Now, I looked at a PDF of it because that's just how I interpret language a little better, because I really wanted to like take in the sentiment of it.
Is that why?
Yeah, that's why. James, it's about, I want to say like a 4-minute read. That's how long it takes to read this speech. This man spoke for 22 minutes. 22 minutes. And oh my God, I printed it. Hold on. I have it right here.
Ooh, here we go. Story time, guys.
And then I highlighted and annotated the whole fucking thing line by line, because I was just so fucking irritated at the atrocity of this speech that only takes 4 minutes to read, James. I'm dyslexic. Think about that for a second. I'm dyslexic. It took 4 minutes to read it, and he spoke with his mouth for 22 minutes. And like, what he talked the whole time too. So there wasn't even like a dramatic effect. It was just him fucking talking. And let's just go through it. Let's do it.
I'm down.
So my first note was he says I know why this was my first thought, but the first line is Chief Justice Roberts, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, Leader McConnell, Vice President Pence, my distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. And my first note was fuck off. Fuck off, Joe.
I would just like to second that sentiment. Fuck off. I like that. That's good.
My first
issue. Is that the annotation on there? Is just like fuck off?
Yeah, just fuck off right there at the corner. Fuck off.
I like it.
You gotta, it's raw. This is a raw reaction. What my issue that I took was he kept calling this nation a democracy. And that's fucking annoying to me because it's not a democracy, James. Do you know what kind of government system we have?
Tell me what kind of government system we have.
A republic. It's a republic, James.
What?
Which is different. It's different than a fucking democracy, James. It's
then
different.
Why do all these politicians get it wrong all of the time? Every single time I see them, they say some shit about democracy.
Because, James, it's easier. No, I don't know why the fuck. Because, like, they grew up in America and the school system failed them. And I guess, like, no one...
I don't even know what country you live in. I don't know where I live.
What pisses me off is, like, all of them have a fucking political science degree and you don't know we live in a republic. Democracy won. This is an attack on democracy. But what about democracy? They're trying to uproot our democracy. Like, we don't have a democracy?
You forgot we need to go bomb the brown people because they don't have democracy. Forgot that one too.
Why are we trying to give people democracy when we don't have democracy? Like, why are we like, here, it didn't work for us. You try. We don't fucking have that system. Stop bringing it to other countries like this discount republic. We have a republic, which means we elect officials to go vote on shit for us. We vote for the people who will vote. Okay. A democracy is everyone voting on the issue directly. Don't forget for a second that you elect officials for your state, your city, your county, and they go to Washington, D.C., and they vote on the fucking issues. That is a republic. So when they stormed the Capitol, it wasn't an attack on your democracy. It was an attack on your republic. And yes, that is an important distinction.
It really is. It really is. All right. So that was line one.
Yeah, so actually, it was the third sentence. And I fit all that at the top, just the third sentence. And then the next thing he said was, America has been tested anew and America has risen to the challenge. And then my first thought was, they just stormed the fucking Capitol. Like, what are you talking about? America has risen to the challenge. Not only have 1 million people died, they just stormed the Capitol. There's children in cages. Like, what the fuck are you on? Do we live in the same America, Joseph? They've risen to the challenge. If this is the best America could do, this is them rising to the challenge, we're doomed. We're fucking doomed. I'm over it. I'm over it. Fucking over it. And then he said, we've learned again that democracy is precious. We don't live in a democracy. Democracy is fragile. We don't live in democracy. And in this hour, my friends, I'm not your fuck ass friend, democracy has prevailed. We don't live in a democracy. So not only do we not live in democracy, Joseph, 80 million people didn't fucking vote. So how has democracy prevailed when 80 million, nearly a third of the US population isn't participating in it? Democracy only works when everyone does it. So obviously it's failed, Joseph. And off the bat, first paragraph, you're fucking wrong. So we don't live in democracy. And even if we did, it still failed. Even if we did have a democracy, James, it's still shit. Okay. It's still just a piece of shit. So wrong again. But then again, I don't know if that 80 million encompasses all the people Joe threw in jail and now lost their voting rights because they're felons. Like, so
that probably makes up the rest of everyone, 80 million ex-cons that can't vote. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it did. Yeah. Maybe democracy did work and this is all just by design. Like maybe I'm wrong.
You talk about, you know, people don't want to give people voting rights and everybody's taking away voting rights. How about the people you take voting rights away from because they went to jail and now permanently can't vote? So democracy, right?
Democracy. Fuck. Democracy. Don't get me started on democracy.
I think you started yourself on democracy.
I did.
No, Joe did.
Started me on democracy.
That was him.
Joseph, keep your fuck ass democracy to yourself. So, and then he goes on to say, few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than we are right now. So, that's rambling. That's a fucking ramble, Joe. But also, few people have been in a more challenging time than we are in, right? Few people have been in a more, there were 4 million slaves, Joseph. Few people have been, there's an entire generation, okay, who survived the Spanish flu pandemic, right? And then went into a world war, right? And then went into another one. And then had a Great Depression. And you think us with our electric toothbrushes and self-parking cars are just the most few people have been where you have a computer in your pocket, okay, where your home regulates its own temperature. Few people have experienced the challenges that we have today. There are people, and I fucking really, Joe, just tone deaf, absolutely tone deaf.
And for a man born in 1942, you think he'd fucking know better? I'm just saying. Like, if anybody would know, like, if it's some, like, I don't know, millennial president or whatever, it's like, okay, all right, maybe you don't get it. But Joe Biden, the almost 80-year-old president that we have, knows for sure that people have had it worse. There's been a lot of shitty things that we've gotten through.
Nobody in this nation's history. Remember the Triangle fires, James? Where like a building caught on fire because there was no fucking code and women had to jump to their deaths or burn alive? Nobody has faced challenges like we are today, James. Oh my God, with our filtered water and internet, no one's faced challenges.
Well, nobody that's not poor or black or a minority or a woman has ever faced challenges. Just older white men have never faced a challenge like this. I'm just saying.
Straight white men are under attack, and it's a fucking genocide out there, James. Protect yourself.
That's why we elected Joe Biden. He needs to fight for the oppressed peoples of America.
Oh my God. This thing got me pressed. It got me fucking pressed. Anyway, next sentence. Millions have lost their jobs. Remember that executive order you signed, Joseph? Worried about millions losing their job. Like, you said that like it wasn't fucking enough. Like, millions have lost their jobs.
Only millions have lost their jobs.
Joe said, hold my prune juice. Like, I'm about to fuck up an industry. Hold my fucking prune juice, okay? I'm about to fuck it up. So angry. Hundreds of businesses have closed. Remember when you advocated shutdowns causing hundreds of businesses to close, Joseph? Who the fuck are you talking to? Like, you're talking to me like it's my fault. It's not the government. Like, oh my God, look at all this awful thing that happened before I was here. And then he just like perpetuates those issues. A cry for racial justice, a cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making. Remember when Joseph ignored Black Lives Matter reaching out to talk to him? Don't fucking bring them up, Joseph. Okay, you left those hoes on red and you know it. So why even be like, oh my God, there was civil unrest, and then like you had an opportunity to talk to people to like formulate a plan, and then you're gonna tell me like you're gonna fucking ignore them. So
well,
yeah,
you remember that we painted Black Lives Matter in the streets and we put black women on some dollar bills. So racism's over. Joe Biden has cured racism.
Well, technically he did, because everyone that voted for him is Black now, and everyone who didn't vote for him ain't Black. So there are only two races, and 7.9 billion people ain't Black, and the rest just are Black. So
well, that's good to know. That clarifies things a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It makes everything so much easier. There's no like, you can't be mixed, you can't be like Hispanic, you can't be Asian, you can't be anything. It's just not Black or Black.
No, ain't Black or
Black. I'm sorry, my fault. Ain't Black.
It's a cultural thing. Okay, it's a sign of respect.
I was being culturally insensitive. I apologize.
Yeah, it's a little derogatory to say not Black. So if you could just say ain't.
I'm about to
Black,
get canceled at this point.
Cancel my host. Cancel the host of this show. It's done.
Go on.
You know what? Okay, so again, he brings up our fucking fragile ass democracy, and then unity. That's his like theme and thematic message. And like every time he brought up unity, I just like turned a little bit to the left and saw the National Guard with guns, and it's like, love each other or fucking die. Okay, like Jesus. Lots of unity and peace, and then he's just like just fucking whatever. But this was like one of my favorite moments. He quotes the Emancipation Proclamation. Remember that proclamation that gave slaves to the government instead of private and really just expanded slavery? Remember that one?
Oh, the slaves that didn't have it harder than we have it today, right?
Yeah, those guys.
Right.
They wouldn't survive this, James. Okay, like a slave then would look at our lives and be like, oh my God, send me back.
I'm good. It's like, I'm good.
You know,
I'm
like.
Good. So I'm actually just curious, point of clarification, since they did not vote for Joe Biden and could not actually vote for Joe Biden, are they, in fact, ain't Black at that point?
They ain't Black. Everyone in history ain't Black, and there's only 80 million Black people ever now.
It's good to know.
Yeah. He solved racism.
Thanks, Joe.
There's only
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Obama couldn't fucking do that. Within like before he was even president, Joe Biden solves fucking racism by annihilating every other race. There's only two now, and only 80 million people are a part of the second one. So great question. But no, there were no Black slaves.
Okay. Good to know.
So he's going on about unity, and then he quotes President Lincoln, and he says, this is actually a really good quote. If my name ever goes down in history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it. Which, like, Abraham Lincoln saying that is powerful. Joe Biden, the only thing you're going down in history for, baby, is ain't Black and the 1994 crime bill. Okay, like you've made it, because I don't know if you've noticed, history's written by the people who outlived that time, and I'm a meme lord, and those are all the memes I have of you, okay? It's just me shitting on you relentlessly, and when I write history books, which like is a petty ass dream of mine.
When that's the key word.
When I write them, okay, I'm putting in all my best memes about you.
Well, it'll be in meme form, right? At that point, the media won't be like, these books of like words. It'll be memes, because memes really tell the spirit and the culture and the ideas behind the events. So when you write these history textbooks, it will be full of the memes that share the American life and history colorized for all future generations.
I cannot wait for like school, the way it's taught to just be in like meme format. Like your homework is just like, instead of read this book, it's like analyze this meme. Like what was the author trying to portray? Oh my God.
It's like,
The
or
future is
make
today.
a meme about an event in history.
That's their essay. Just like make a fucking meme. 20% of your grade, make a meme.
I like it.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about Mr. Joseph R. Biden's speech, Jr. Joseph R. Biden Jr. speech. Something about the Abraham Lincoln quote.
Oh yeah, real rich coming from him.
Yeah,
real fucking rich. Like you've done nothing worthwhile. All your shit is performative bullshit. Abraham Lincoln reunited the nation. Like what the fuck have you done besides like ended racism? Oh, okay, wait, never mind. You ended racism. Good on you, Joe.
That's pretty good.
I take back everything I just said. I forgot you ended racism. Like what? Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. My man Joseph ended racism. Nailed it.
You wouldn't have had to free the slaves if racism was already ended. So basically, Joe Biden, like Abraham Lincoln was like pointless at that point. If we had just waited for Joe Biden, it would have been over like forever ago.
Best president in history, like Joseph Biden. Oh my god.
Retroactively, he's just the best ever.
Just like ever. Like fuck George Washington. If Joseph was there, like we would be slobbing the knobs of the British soldiers, you know, like just slobbing knobs.
But in a very non-racist way.
In a very just like all-inclusive way. Just
that's right.
Absolutely. My next favorite line was we can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. As the National Guard stare over you, let's lower the temperature a bit. I feel like you guys are like a little heated. So now that I have 20,000 troops all pointing guns at you, why don't we simmer down? Let's simmer, okay?
Yeah, you should probably simmer down. Yeah.
Fucking dick. You're gonna say unity and peace and stop fighting each other while I just had to pay for 20,000 soldiers to eat pizzas while they slept on the floor of the Capitol. Jesus, Joseph, you're wasting my money. It's really just upsetting.
Interestingly enough, DC was the most heavily military occupied city in the world for a few days, which was again
breaking records.
Yeah, no, that's
America. That's American democracy because the most militarized places have the most democracy.
Because when we instill democracy in the Middle East, we usually like to have it done at the point of a gun. So it just makes sense that that's how we would then do it here because it works so well over there.
You know, maybe America has finally realized what America's doing to America. So now America's coming to give it some democracy. Like maybe that's what's happening.
That's probably exactly what happened.
World police, you gotta love him. I was like, save me, America. This was my favorite sentence because my president shouldn't speak like this, but he does. And he said, we have never, ever failed in America when we acted together. And my first thought was Japanese internment camps. That was a real fucking failure. And y'all did that together. Slavery. What a blemish. And you really came together on that one too. Like what else? Remember?
You can look at it. So I think that's like a pessimistic way to look at it. You could look at it that way, or you could just say we succeeded at being terrible people when we worked together. No, we didn't fail at anything. We just succeeded at being horrible.
You know what? Our goals have mostly always been shitty. So if you think about it, we are the best at being awful. And
when we put our minds to it, there's nothing we can't do.
There's nothing we can't destroy, kill, or overuse. You know,
that is it. Bringing tears to my eyes.
Well, I want to start singing the national anthem right now. I just want playing over this.
Just right now. We're gonna take a minute. We're just gonna be like looking off in the corner, and it's gonna be a little flag waving across the screen.
Okay. Then he goes on and he's like, we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and manufactured.
Oh. Did he just say that?
Joseph, what are you and Mark Zuckerberg up to? Joseph. Okay, like that's Joseph. Who the fuck are you talking to? Joseph. Okay.
That line is pretty.
Okay.
It's like nerve-wracking, but it's like also kind of hilarious at the same time.
Tone deaf. I told you this speech was tone deaf.
So
this
good.
is my all-time favorite line in this because this one fucked up my day. And I had to, every time I got to this point, I had to re-listen, reread, rewatch this fucking speech. It's 22 minutes, James. It's 22 minutes. Okay. Like I'm giving commentary and I'm almost fucking done. And I haven't even been talking for 22 minutes. Like that's how fucking long he took. But anyway.
Speech plus commentary is shorter than the actual speech.
As mentioned earlier, can I start the sentence here? No, I can't. So he says, here we stand in the shadow of Capitol Dome. As mentioned earlier, completed in the shadow of the Civil War. That was never fucking mentioned. That was never mentioned earlier. What the fuck is he talking about? As mentioned earlier, completed in the shadow of the Civil War. He never brought that shit up. What are you going on? What, as mentioned earlier? I had to stop, pause, rewind. As mentioned earlier, you never brought that up. You mentioned the Civil War, but all you said was through Civil War, Great Depression, and World War, we struggled. But like, you didn't bring up the Civil War as it relates to the Capitol. You didn't bring up the Capitol unless you briefly mentioned the insurgents, which wasn't an insurgence, it was a tantrum, but you never mentioned that. What are you as very on brand for Joseph, okay? You never mentioned it. What, as mentioned before? I don't know. Maybe
like I've been saying this whole time.
Like, you've never brought that up. This is the first we've heard that the Capitol Hill was completed in the Civil War. That's the first we've heard of it. That fucking history tidbit, like you just sprinkled it in like a fucking motif. Shut up. You didn't mention that ever. And like, I had to like take time and be like, wait, am I not paying attention? But I was the whole time. And I shouldn't have to listen to this more than once because you don't know how to get your fucking facts straight about what you're saying. You're saying it. I shouldn't have to work this hard. But then again, typical of government officials making me do all the heavy lifting and they get all the goddamn credit. Yeah, that was my I hated that. I fucking hated that. I really did. It bothered me, James, because I was like, what?
One of his speechwriter would like thought like he put something in earlier and then somebody else like took it out and then nobody told him to like, hey, I took this out. And so it's just like, guys, he's like, that was the best part. It flows through the whole thing. I'm going to reference it like 8 times in this speech and you're just going to take that shit out?
Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. I
mean, these people were obviously the cream of the crop. This is the best team that we could assemble to defeat Donald Trump. And if you have a problem with that, then, I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to you. Like, you must, I just don't understand. No, but it's like, so I saw like some of the commentary from the inauguration that was equating. So of course you have, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and George Bush and his wife, I don't remember her name, and Obama and Michelle. They were all there with Joe Biden and his wife, Jill Biden. And one of the commentators, this is a clip I saw afterwards, was like he likened them to assembling of the Avengers so that they could defeat the great evil of Donald Trump. And I was like, holy shit, are you serious? You just basically called these people like the Avengers. Okay, superheroes.
Fucking
that and I'm like, do you not see these horrible, murderers and liars and thieves in front of you, and you call them the Avengers because they won an election against Donald Trump? That's just the cognitive dissonance there was just blazing. I was like, okay, all right, yeah.
There was an article that said if you woke up feeling better and refreshed because Biden won. Here might be like some science behind it. And I was like, no, that's cognitive dissonance, babe. That's like, what? No, you woke up feeling better because you're fucking crazy. That's why.
Because you are a crazy person.
Because you're not living in the reality that like you went to sleep in. Like you woke up in dreamland. Hello, welcome to America.
So my Facebook feed, which I have unfortunately caught a week-long ban from. So, I mean, it's actually been kind of nice. I haven't been subjected to a lot of the bullshit that I'm used to. But so my feed during the inauguration and a little bit after, like within 24 hours of the inauguration, was full of like just these, I can't believe we did it. Like we won, like this, like I feel like an American again. One of them was, and this one made me laugh. He's like, hey guys, I just want to let you guys know there is a man on television who is the president of the United States and he's not lying. Like for the first time in 4 years, he's on the TV and he's not lying. And I was like, well, guys, do we just live in the same like America? Like, you know, they both fucking lied. Your breakdown of the goddamn inauguration speech was full of all that bullshit. And I'm like, guys, he is not lying. Like, I'm so excited. Like,
he's already lied. He's already lied though. Like he's
been president for 22 minutes and he's lied his ass off. So
Jesus, he's already fucking lied. Like, remember when he was like, I have a plan for COVID, and now he's like, it's gonna take months, guys. Like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on here. It's gonna take months.
My plan was to be president. That was my plan.
It was supposed to go away. I wrote a letter. And everything. Like, COVID, you can stay until I'm president. But once I'm president, you gotta like fucking skedaddle back to like wherever. I don't know. But like, you can't be president no more. You can't be fucking president. Anyway, so we have 4 more paragraphs of just like nonsense. Going on about how he understands some people didn't want him to be president, but he says if you still disagree, so be it. That's democracy. That's America. We
don't have a democracy.
We don't have a democracy. But do you see the fucked up part about democracy is even if you don't fucking want something, people will just shrug and be like, fucking sucks to be you. Fucking sucks. Like,
nothing
why do we live
we voted.
We voted, Bethany. I know you're gluten-free, but we're getting fucking cheese pizza because we voted. So fuck you.
And you're paying for it. Okay.
And you're paying for it, and you have to eat it.
You have to eat it because democracy, though. Like, you
because
can't
democracy.
opt out.
You can't opt out. Yeah. You can't just like do your own thing either. Like if we're going to get cheese pizza, everyone has to not only pay for it, they have to eat it, even if you don't like it. And if you do something else, like if we like go and get cheese pizza and then you stop at McDonald's because you didn't like it, that's like a fucking felony. Okay, so that's democracy.
That's an insurrection. Okay.
That's violence. It's straight terrorism. It's straight fucking terrorism. They showed up with bananas, James. Like I feared for my life. There was a plantain in this man's gun holster.
Just you know those things are slippery, and I have seen cartoons. I know what they do to people.
Also, they're just full of fucking potassium, and too much of that could stop your heart.
That is true.
We don't know how many bananas he had on him.
Sounds like a dangerous combination.
Fucking stupid.
Obviously, homegrown terrorist.
Homegrown terrorists in a nation full of democracy. Democracy. Fucking, that's not what we have. We don't live in a goddamn democracy. And I don't get what's so fucking hard about that. We vote for people to vote on issues. Like that's what it is. And that's why it's not too bad, so sad. Because I voted for you to vote on issues, but also I vote for my own representatives to go voice my concern. And really, what the fuck are you for, dude? It's stupid. We don't have a fucking democracy. I didn't vote for you, dude. So like, you're going to shove a gun in my face. Like, if you don't like it, too bad, so sad. Like, no, that's not too bad, so sad. That I didn't agree to these fucking terms. When the fuck did I wake up and I was like, you know what? I hope somebody dictates every fucking thing I do. I hope they turn my history and my the history of my ancestors and the plight of like the communities I come from into fucking jokes and narratives to boost their fucking careers. I hope, like, when the fuck did I say, yeah, I want to do that? I really want to, like, I love having half my income stolen from me every year to do shit that I don't like. Like, I didn't agree to that. And then you just like are born into this system. And Joseph's advice to me is, that's democracy. That's America. But guess what? It's not, we don't have a democracy. And this is not America. This is it. Yo, is this the shit we learned about in school? Like, honestly, like George Washington fought to like free control from the fucking British so that we could come here and pay 47% of our money in taxes. Like, this isn't it. What are you talking about? And I don't know what I expected from that speech. I really don't. Then maybe I expected this. Maybe this is exactly what the fuck I thought it'd be. I guess it's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. If like everything we just went through, especially in 2020, telling me that's democracy, too bad, so sad, is not what the fuck I wanted. That's not how you unite people. Like, how am I supposed to feel coming together? Like, suck it up, buttercup. You have to listen to me now. No, like respect, trust, and like everything that comes with leadership is earned. And if you're not going to put in the hard work to earn that from people, step the fuck down. This too bad, so sad mentality is ruining this nation. It's absolutely stupid. It's not too bad, so sad. Can we listen to what other people want, what they're saying? Because maybe they have like a really good fucking point that you're not considering, and it's not too bad, so sad. You're going to ruin their lives because you think it is. It's dumb. And like, it's not that I'm upset that Kamala and Joe are in office, because like it could have been anybody with this bullshit mentality of I'm in charge, and you're not in charge. I don't fucking know you. I didn't vote for you. Why do you get to like dictate anything and tell me what to do and tell me what's best when like you don't have to live with the fucking aftermath of it? You don't have to stay home and like deal with not having a job and like how are you going to pay your fucking mortgage now? You all just made that fucking announcement and then went off on vacation. Your constituents have not taken a vacation in years. Can like that sink in for a second when you're bitching at everyone for being upset at the fucking government when they have not had a vacation in years, when they're supposed to like go out and find a job and they just spent $140,000 on their education and now there's no jobs in their field and they already have to pay their debt payments and they can't take a fucking vacation and rent's rising and they can't find a job again because they just got laid off and it's the middle of a pandemic and their girlfriend just left them. Like, come on, can you cut them some slack? Can you cut them some fucking slack? Because there's no football. There's no going to the store. There's no barbecuing with their neighbors. There's nothing to distract them from how shitty their fucking circumstances are. And you're going to berate them and tell them too bad, so sad? Can you have a little fucking compassion that they think their life is over because you're president? Too bad, so sad. Fuck off. Just fuck you, Joe.
I think that about sums the whole thing up. Like, and I think so. You touched on something that I thought was funny and both, fitting, that they make these rules and then don't really have to live by them, and kind of, we're the ones that get stuck with it. And, on day one, he had this executive order, right? He had like 17, and then it was like 30 within the first 3 days, whatever. But one of them was there has to be a mask on all federal properties, right? And then literally the same day, he was walking around with no mask on federal property, and so was his press secretary, and so was Jill, and so was like all of his entourage. Like literally the day that he signed it, it's a little microcosm into how politicians operate. It's like, hey, these are the rules. You guys go ahead and do that. So basically, all like the contractors, the people digging ditches out, like doing, the people taking care of the White House lawn, the National Guards people, they all had to have masks, but not Biden or anybody that works for him. So just a fun little side note.
I hate them so much. Like, I don't want to. I don't. I'd love to have like just love in my heart, to be naive again. That like, oh my God. I guess what what I'm mad about is I'm jealous. I'm jealous at every fucking idiot that thinks their life is about to get better, because I wish I lived in that fucking fantasy of just it's over. It's over. This downward slope I'm in, this like fucking rut, this depression because Donald Trump was president is over. Like it's not. It's not, babe. It's just
Guys,
beginning,
we
really.
won. We did this. We did this together. We got through the most difficult and trying time in all of our history, right? And now everything's fine. Everything's beautiful because we elected a person that will tell us the truth, somebody that's going to keep all of his promises, and somebody who has, relatively defeated COVID, from what I understand. So yeah, everything's beautiful. Like on day one, it was yeah, guys, we did it. We did it.
Well, we have never, ever, 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 ever failed when we acted together. Too bad only 1/3 of the nation voted for you. So how the fuck did we act together on that, Joseph?
Democracy.
Like,
That's
explain
how.
that to me.
Democracy.
Joseph, too bad, so sad. That's how we acted together. It's too bad, so sad. So like that's the theme of this new administration. Too bad, so fucking sad. And like fitting, you lost your job in the oil fields because I signed a fucking executive. Too bad, so sad. You can find new jobs. That's what he said. You can find new fucking jobs. All these job loss because like of Trump, you can find new ones. Just find new ones.
It's like, it's not like we have double-digit U6 unemployment at all. It's so easy to find a job. Why are you guys complaining? Just find another job.
Find a new fucking job. But then also, I would have done it differently because, like, I agree. The government should not be funding projects like that. I agree.
Absolutely,
I would have gotten rid of it too if I was president. I might have I don't know, given like a 2-week notice, just like a hey.
Like no, today, like done.
Hey, hi, me, I'm new. Maybe you saw my speech. No more oil in like 2 weeks. So like plan something, get your affairs in order.
We're gonna stop socializing the oil industry. So
yeah,
get a job that's actually free market. Do that.
Yeah, go to like the job market. Like here are some listings. Here are some resources if you need to rewrite your resume. Like they're people, cut them some fucking slack. They're relying on you and you just fucking fired them like assholes. Okay. Like you're a piece of shit. And it's that too bad, so sad mentality that's going to be the death of this nation. But maybe that's exactly what we need right now, James.
Yeah, it's like that's exactly what we need. A little bit of tough love from Joseph R. Biden. No, it was crazy that I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought there was going to be some kind of transition phase thing, like you were saying, or like, stop subsidizing, but he straight up revoked the permit. He did all this like day one, 10,000, between 10 and 15,000 people lost their jobs. But no, it's crazy because I think it was the pipe fitters and welders union that he was under and that all those people are under endorsed Joe Biden, and one of his first acts was just be like, you guys have a job, congratulations.
You played yourself.
Exactly.
Played yourself. That's why you don't endorse anybody in the government. Like assume that they're lying to you. Assume it. Like why? That's what I don't get. Like what he didn't do it the first few times. What's different about today? Like what is it? I don't get that. You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. Like BLM, like I didn't feel bad then either. It's just like fucking BLM. They won't take your fucking calls. They used you. Holy shit.
Do you remember when Black Lives Matter was putting out tweets like it's been 29 days, it's been 30 days, it's been 42 days. Now I think they just stopped counting because it's been so freaking long since he picked up their phone. Like you said, leaving them on red because that's exactly what he's doing. He's like, yeah, you guys were helpful. Thanks for that.
This is my stop. Bye. Oh
yeah.
My God. You're going this way. I'm going this way.
Too bad. So sad. Sorry about that whole racism thing. My bad.
I can't.
So, are you ready for 4 years of this? Are you ready for 4 years of this?
No.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not ready either. However, I am again, silver lining that I am. I like the change of pace to where I get, because before I was called, a Democrat most of the time, so I would, be fairly hard on Trump. But the day that that Biden got elected, some of the memes that I shared that actually got me on a temporary ban were against Biden, and I was immediately called a Republican, like immediately, and it was by some people that we mutually know, and it was just kind of funny. I'm like, have you not paid attention to anything I've ever said? But anyways, I'm looking forward to the change of pace because now I will be called a Republican instead of some, Antifa, Democrat, whatever the insult of the day is from the right wing for attacking President Trump. So I'm looking forward to that piece.
I just don't think it's going to be a change of pace. I think I'm going to be making the same memes with a different fucking name attached. Like it's the same.
I think that's what it is, but other people are going to call you different names for doing the same thing. And that part is kind of cool.
They call you all this bullshit, but they never call you wrong. They never say that I'm wrong. They say I'm a bitch and a cunt and a fucking whore, but they never say I'm wrong. Okay.
Hey, I never thought about it that way. That's silver pretty lining. I like that. Look at that. We're like half glass full people here.
We are
killing it.
Guys, the
optimism in America. That's what democracy gives you.
Rename this podcast Optimism in America, because that's what we are.
Because we're so optimistic. No sarcasm,
the most
nothing
optimistic. Attached. Like we are the most humble and the most optimistic. Like
absolutely.
That's absolutely.
Who we
that's
are
it.
At our core.